戦闘に慣れていれば。
嘘。なんで。
俺はどうすればいい。どうすれば。ソードアートオンラインオーディナルスケール。
So they want me back, do they? What's more fun is to be had. When I watched the first season, I thought that it had potential, but concluded that it was trash in the end. Then I watched the second season and thought that the potential was realized and was pretty great. Now this movie comes along and keeps this franchise going. And here I am, still watching it, letting you guys know how I felt about it. I'm wearing my goddamn PJs right now, that's how much I don't care. Here we go. Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale is a 2017 movie and is the first full-length movie in the Sword Art Online franchise, not counting the Extra Edition movie, as that was mostly a recap film with extra fanservice scenes and a 20-minute quest at the end.
Taking place after the Mother's Rosario arc, Ordinal Scale is about a new game that's become popular that uses the AR functions on a new device that everyone is using. Our characters begin to participate in it as they realize that bosses from Aincrad are appearing in the game. A conspiracy is also afoot as an evil plan connected to Ordinal Scale is being put into action as our characters might be changed forever.
Quotation on might though, which I'll get to later. I'd like to start with the positives no matter what I'm covering, so I'll first talk about the animation and music in the movie, which, as always with this series, is spectacular.
The animation in the original show is already great. I mean, it's A1 Pictures and their animation is always on point, but this movie increases the production value even more. The character designs are on point, the fight scenes are smooth and clean and have a lot of energy to it, and the colors really pop in this one. Ordinal Scale is really good to look at with this spectacular animation, and is also great to listen to with its spectacular music. Just like with the animation in the original series, the music was also on point as well, and the same can be said for the music in the movie as well. And that is especially true in the movie's fight scenes. It gets you all excited and energized for the amazing fight scene that you're about to see, and it kinda sucks you in a little.
Speaking of which, let's talk about those fight scenes, because that has also been one of my favorite things about Sword Art Online.
No matter how shitty the stories and characters are in any of the Sword Art Online arcs, the fight scenes are always great. My favorites in the original series being the Kirito and Sinon fight against Defgun, and the Asuna vs Yuki fight. But I think the fight scenes in this movie have probably taken control of the slots of my favorite fights in the franchise. I'm not exaggerating when I say that these fights are amazing to watch. The fights against the Aincrad bosses and some other characters are great, but it's the final fight that takes the crown as the best fight in the movie.
I won't spoil it, but let's just say that not only does it wrap up things from the first arc of the show, but it also features all the characters coming together to fight the same foe with plenty of callbacks and references.
I should also mention that the franchise cameos that are throughout the movie are nice as well. You see characters and hear references from all the other arcs, and they are actually kind of welcome. As someone who doesn't think that much about the franchise, some of these cameos actually got a few laughs out of me. And there was one reference to something that actually made me squeal a little.
Yes, I squealed at a moment while watching Sword Art Online. I'm not afraid to admit it.
The new characters and motivations that they had are pretty good as well. The new characters of the pop idol Yuna, the second ranked player in Ordinal Scale Iji, and the creator of the game, Dr. Shigemura, are great additions to the franchise and fulfill their roles in the movie perfectly. Yuna was an especially good highlight, with her idol scenes being a lot of fun. The main plot of the movie has some great setup and the possibility for some consequences that need to be overcome.
But that's the thing. It has the possibility to do it. Thing is, it doesn't do it. And this is where we get to the negatives of Ordinal Scale. For as much of the production value and execution of things that I praised about this movie, the characters and story are still as weak as ever.
The plot and conflict that arises from it has the possibility to be a game changer for the entire franchise, something that the disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya and the Madoka Magica Rebellion movie manages to do with their respectable series. The things that the characters go through have the opportunity to really change the franchise in the future, but the movie decides to go for its complete happy ending with no long-term consequences. And it really is a shame because some of these emotional moments are executed really well. but the movie doesn't really go anywhere and nothing really seems to be accomplished by the end. Everything just goes back to the status quo.
And that would be fine if this was just a simple, enjoyable film. But the plot sets the movie up as a game changer for the franchise, and it just doesn't deliver on that. There is also no reason for this movie to be 2 hours long, and it really drags in the first third as it sets up everything. The plot doesn't really get going until an hour into the movie. It could have easily have been a good hour and a half. Hour and 40 tops.
The characters also don't change by the end and are still as shallow as ever. Kirito is still God by the end and Asuna stays the same as she usually is, though she gets some really cool moments here and there. Liz and Silica are still pointless, Lifa is still the big-chested cousin, but thankfully she isn't in the movie that much. Yui is still a deus ex machina, Klein is still the comic relief punching bag, Sinon is still awesome but she barely gets any screen time, and Gilbert is... God, I forget he exists sometimes. These characters are the same from beginning to end, and though there is some great setup for change and development, the movie doesn't deliver on it at all. I actually find myself liking the new characters more through some well-executed scenes, but even they don't get their potential fully fulfilled by the end.
In the end, just like in the original show, the production and fight scenes of the movie are really great, but it's the characters and story where it really drops down in quality. Which is a shame because, as I said, there's a lot of good potential here. But as a casual watcher of Sword Art Online, I'm glad I saw it. I got a lot of great animation and fight scenes to watch, and as I said, the final fight scene is worth watching the movie. And it isn't anywhere near as bad as the first season, but at the same time, it doesn't reach the emotional highlights or total enjoyability of the second season as well. So I just think it's okay, and judging by the after credits scene of the movie, there's going to be even more Sword Art Online in the future. So it looks like I'll never be free from this franchise. To wrap this up, I'm going to give Sword Art Online Ordinal Scale a C+. If you love the franchise as a whole, you're gonna love this movie. If you hate the franchise and can't find any redeemable qualities of it, then you'll hate it. But if you're like me and can find and enjoy the good things about it, then you'll like it just fine. Thanks again for watching. As usual, you can like the video or subscribe to see more. Comment on any review you want me to do and I might just review it. Catch you later.